Alright, so today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We are going to be making a kunai. Alright, complete with very nice handy belt sheath. Alright, so I'm going to be showing you how to make this in all of its lovely glory today. How's that sound? Yeah? Alright, so we're going to start off with a regular sheet of computer paper. Alright, now we're going to fold it in half like this. Alright, short side to short side. Alright, okay. Now we actually only need half of this for this first part. So make sure it's nice and creased. Now you can use scissors or a knife for this part, but this is my preferred method. Alright, see, now you have two halves. Alright, okay. We're going to take one half, alright, and we're going to roll it to make that handle part, the hilt. Alright, now, I use a nice dowel to make it easier. Okay, this one is about 1/16 of an inch. You can use something similar. You can also roll it freehand and just gauge the size on your own. Alright, so basically you're just going to roll it up like so. Make sure it's all nice and straight. Alright, okay. And then you're going to glue this flap down so it stays rolled. Alright, now, I have a nice handy glue bottle here. You can use bigger glue bottle, you can use glue stick, whatever is your preferred method. I like this because it's nice and easy. Alright, and you're going to put glue right along the edge right here, like so. And then you're just going to hold it in place for a second. Alright. Alright, once you're sure it's secure, alright, just pull that dowel up. Alright. And you have first part of your kunai. Alright. Yeah. Now, to make the next part of the handle, we're actually going to need a fourth of a sheet. So we're going to take this other half, we're going to fold it in half. Alright? We're going to do the same thing we did before. Alright. Alright. So we're going to end up with this. Fourth of a sheet of paper. Okay? Now, this is going to be a little bit tricky. Okay? We're going to fold it in half. Alright? Like this. Long side to long side. You're going to unfold it. You see that nice crease down the center? We're going to fold each side to the center. To that center crease we just made. Alright? You're going to want to make sure you're folding as straight as possible for this part. Okay? Alright. See it? Alright. We're going to do this again. We're actually going to do this set of folds a total of 3 times on either side. Always folding to the center and in as straight a line as possible. Alright? And it's this last set that's going to be making it the trickiest. Alright? Okay. Okay. When you end up with something kind of like this, you're going to refold it along that center fold. Alright? So you actually end up with something kind of like this. Alright? And this is going to be what forms that loop at the end of the handle for the kunai. Alright? But you need to make sure you're gluing it first. So we're going to take the glue again, all right? And we're going to just run it right up there, all right? Okay. Now, this is actually easier if you have something to hold it in place while it dries. So I'm actually going to set this to the side and put some weight on top of it so that it will dry. Make sure it stays nice and glued and tight, all right? Okay. All right. Now we're going to get started on the blade, okay? So start with a fresh sheet of computer paper, okay? All right. And again, much like with the first one, we're going to need a half a sheet, so we're going to fold it in half like we did before. Okay, short side to short side. All right. Again, make sure you get it as straight as possible. All right. All right. All right. Now we're going to get started with one side for now. You're actually going to be making two identical pieces here, but we're going to get started with just the one. Okay. So again, we're going to be folding it. All right. Like this in half. All right. Make sure it's as straight as possible. All right. See, like that. And then we're going to unfold it. All right. We're going to take one end. We're going to fold this edge to the center line. All right. Okay. All right. See? And we're going to do the other side the same way. All right. All right. Okay. See? Then we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to take this edge. All right. See these edges here? And we're going to fold them to the center. Okay. All right. And you're going to end up with something kind of like this. It's almost like you're folding a paper airplane, right? But we're folding the blades for the kunai here. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go to the other end, and we're going to fold it in just like we did. This edge to that center line. All right. All right. Both sides. And we're going to end up with something kind of like this. And then we're going to fold in half along that center line, that original crease. We're going to end up with something like this. All right, now, remember what I said, we need two of these. So let's do it again, huh? Take that other half, okay, that you put aside a few minutes ago, and fold it in half. All right. Unfold, fold to the center here, and again. All right. Alright, see? Now we have two identical pieces. Alright, now we're going to put them together and glue them to get started on the actual blade itself. So, flip one over, alright? And you're going to lay it like this, see? Alright? So, it's one side, then the other, back and forth, alright? Layering the pieces, alright? You're going to end up with something kind of like this, alright? Now for this part, you're going to want to use a glue stick probably because it's easier to apply, but you can use regular glue. It's just going to make these next few steps a little bit on the tricky side, okay? So, alright. You're going to want to glue these, alright? But you want to be careful where you apply the glue, alright? So, you're not going to want to go all the way up, okay? Not yet. So, you're going to want to go this part right here predominantly, okay? And then you're just going to fold it back over, alright? Like that. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing the other side, alright? Make sure you apply plenty of glue. You're going to want these blades to hold together properly if you want this to actually be useful. Alright? You want to be able to actually use it. I do not recommend actually hitting anybody with these though, just for safety's sake. Okay? Alright. You're going to end up with something like this. Alright? Okay. Alright. Okay, so remember this part? Piece we made earlier? That nice long thinny strip? Alright. We're going to go ahead and add it to the handle so that we can put the handle in the blade once the blade done just a little bit more with the drawing, okay? So, I'm going to take this, and we're going to take the middle, alright, and we're going to shape it into a loop, alright? Okay? So that you end up with something like this, alright? Or more like this, actually. See it? Alright. Now, here's the thing. Even with how thin this is folded, this is not going to go in here. Okay, so, take a pair of scissors, alright, and you're going to trim these ends just a little bit, alright? Okay, so we're going to actually end up with something more like this. Alright, see how that, alright. Okay. We're going to take this, and we're going to take glue. And now this is possibly one of the trickiest parts here. We're going to run the glue down the inside. Alright, and now for this you obviously need liquid glue here. Alright, okay. And then that same end you just put the glue in, you're going to take your looped handle here and insert it. Alright, and then you're going to make sure you got a nice good shaped loop on it. Alright, see? Alright, now the blade should be more or less dry by this point. So, alright, you have your nice good handle here, and you have your blade. Alright, alright, handle goes inside the blade. Now you're going to want to make sure it goes decently far in. Alright, so probably about this much. Okay, and you're going to want to make sure it lays flat and it's straight up and down the middle. Alright, okay. Now, obviously, You need glue. So we're going to coat this bottom section with plenty of glue. Alright, go over it several times here. Copious amounts of glue, because you want to make sure this stays in there nice and good. Alright? Alright. And again, like I said, straight down the center. Alright? Right at that junction. Right? See? Straight down that center. Okay? Okay. Alright. Now, we're going to let that dry for a little bit. And while this is drying, we're going to get started on one of the pieces we're going to need for the sheath. Okay? So, let's set this to the side here. Now, remember that last little square or rectangle we had from that first sheet of paper? That last little fourth, right? Alright, so similar to how we did the loop, we're going to do the same thing here. Alright? We are going to fold it in half. Okay? And then we're going to fold to the center. But this time we're only going to do 2 sets of folds on either side. Okay? So we're going to end up with something twice as wide as that small little loop we made. Okay? Alright. See, we're going to end up with something kind of like this. See? And again, just like that other one, we're going to fold it along that center crease. And then we're going to glue it. Now, because this is just a little bit wider, I'm going to use the glue stick this time. Alright? Make sure you use plenty of glue, because you're going to want to make sure this stays nice and glued tight when you, alright? And voila, just like that, see? Now, much like with that loop, we're going to want to make sure it stays glued nice and tight. So I'm going to put it off to the side and let it sit under our weight while we work on finishing this plate, okay? Alright. Now we got the blade. We're going to make the final few folds here, okay? Alright, so you see these edges here? Alright, where the sides of the blade overlap? Alright? Okay, so we're going to take these points and we're going to fold them in. Alright, starting from this point here all the way till we get to the handle. Alright? Okay, it's not going to completely line up with that edge, but it's going to be pretty close. Alright, and we're going to do this both sides, opposite directions. We're going to be folding towards that flap. Alright, towards that top layer. Alright? And we need to get it as close as possible to that handle, okay? Alright. Okay. Now, remember how I said I don't want you gluing all the way up? Here's why. This point is going to fold inside. So, I'm going to take the glue and coat this tip. And then we're going to fold it inside like that. And we're going to do this on both sides. Alright? Now, the second side is going to be just a little bit trickier with that first side already having been folded, but hey, you should still be able to do it fairly easily. Alright? Now, as you can see, that still leaves a slight problem. These edges are not glued. Alright, so you're going to take your regular glue, and you're going to run it right along these edges here. Alright? Okay? Alright. And we're going to do this on both sides. Alright? Right along the edges of that top layer. Okay? Alright, just like so. Alright. Okay, see? you now have an entire kunai blade. Now, if you wanted to, you could stop here and not do the sheath at all. But I'm going to show you how to do the sheath too, so you can actually wear it on your belt and carry it around, because, I'm the kind of person who likes doing that, right? Alright. So, for the sheath, we're going to need a half a sheath, just like we were doing before. Alright. Alright. Now, this will be the last sheet of paper you need. Okay? But, we are going to need those scissors again that we had out earlier. Alright, so, we're going to need scissors and glue to make the sheath. Alright, so, this is going to be probably the trickiest part of this whole design. Okay, you're going to take this rectangle that we have here. We're going to put your blade over it like this, see? And then fold along the edge. Alright? Like so. Okay? And then we're going to take and fold along the other edge. Alright? Okay. Now, we're going to need those scissors. Okay? Alright? So, we're going to cut along the edge here. Just inside that fold you made. Alright? Alright? So that way, when you're going to wrap the sheath, okay, covers the blade nice and good, but you don't have all that excess that's going to, make it fold weird. And then you're going to fold this other piece back up, right? And we're going to do the same thing. Okay, we're going to cut right within the edges of the blade. Alright? So that way we end up with something kind of like this. Alright? Okay. Now these two pieces you just cut off, you're not going to need. You can throw them away or do whatever you want with them. Alright? Okay. Now, unless you want to accidentally glue the blade into the sheath, I'd recommend taking it out while we do the gluing phase. Alright? So you're going to take your glue stick again. Alright? And you're going to cover basically all this. Alright? Alright? Kind of like this. And then put the blade back in so that you make sure you're not accidentally folding it too flat and it won't hold the blade. Alright? Okay? Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. As you can see here, the back, it's not straight at top because of the way it folded, right? So, you can either fold them in and glue them, or you can just cut those flaps off. Alright? And you're going to end up with something like this. Alright? Now, as you can see, this is a pretty basic sheath for a kunai. And it does work, right? It will hold the kunai. But it won't go on your belt like this. So, flip it over to the back where you can see the overlying flaps. Okay? And we're going to take that piece we had earlier. Alright? That piece that you folded in half several times. Or you folded to the center several times and then folded in half. Alright. Now this is going to be the part that holds it onto your belt. Okay, so we're going to curve the ends. Alright? Like this. And you're going to end up with something kind of like this. Alright, see how that is? See how that looks there? Alright. Now you can use whatever kind of glue you want for this next step. I prefer this glue because it holds better, but you can use basically any kind of glue. This is basic plain Elmer's glue, by the way. And you're going to put a little bit of glue Alright, right here at the end. Alright, on either side. Okay, so you end up with glue there and there. See it? Not sure how well you can see it, but that's where you should end up with the glue, right there at the end. And then you're going to flip it over, and you're just going to put those glue spots down and hold it. Alright, and you're just going to let this sit for a little bit. Alright, okay. Once the glue is dry, it's going to look something kind of like this. Alright, give you a nice good loop to slide onto your belt. Alright, not quite dry there, it looks like, huh? Okay, you're going to want to let that hold for several minutes there, but then obviously once it's dry and you can trust it to hold, you can pull out the blade. See? And then you can carry it around, you can wear it on your belt, you can do whatever the heck you want with it. Alright? Yeah, see? Alright. One finished kunai. Alright. Now, obviously, you can make this in different colors, do all kinds of different patterns. I've done a lot of really different color schemes with this particular design, but for the tutorial, plain white works best, I think, don't you?